TheAdvocateChannel.com looks at the world through the lens of equality and inclusion. Subscribe, like, and share now. AC 24/7's top story countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
A horrific mass shooting at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas kills 19 students and 2 teachers, 17 others wounded. A racist gunman kills 10 people, all of them black, and injures 3 others at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York. Shootings that contributed to a grotesque new finding from the FBI. A new report from the Bureau saying the number of casualties from active shooter situations in the U.S. was the highest in 2022 than it had been in 5 years.
It's something that we've struggled with now for years. We've seen an increase in these sorts of attacks over the last decade or more.
The new FBI report says the casualties, dead and wounded combined, reached 313 from active shooter incidents last year. 100 killed, 213 wounded. In 2021, the FBI says 103 people were killed in active shooter incidents, 140 wounded, for a total of 243 casualties. The incident with the single highest total casualty count in 2022 didn't have the most deaths, but had a large number of wounded. The 4th of July parade shooting in Highland Park, Illinois, where a gunman killed 7 and wounded 48 others.
The Highland Park incident is one of these worst-case scenarios when you're talking about an active shooter attack, because you've got someone firing from an elevated position into a big crowd.
And those shootings last year were not dominated by AR-15s or other rifles. The FBI report says of the 61 total firearms used by active shooters, 29 were handguns, 26 were rifles, 3 were shotguns, and 3 firearms classified as unknown. The report comes as the states seem to be going in different directions with their gun laws. Yesterday, Washington state tightened its laws, banning the sale of most assault-style weapons, enacting a 10-day waiting period, and training requirements for all gun purchases.
These weapons of war, of assault weapons, have no reason other than mass murder.
While the governor of Nebraska just signed a law allowing residents who are at least 21 years old to carry a handgun without a permit. Experts agree there's no clear solution, but CNN analyst John Miller says studying the psychology of the active shooter is critical.
There's a connection numerically with domestic violence. There's also something called leakage, which is in a very high percentage, 85 to 95% of active shooters, you find them either telling people directly what they're going to do before it happens, or giving broad hints that could have been identified if people reported it.
Like the Advocate Channel on Facebook for the best way to get updates on stories that advocate for equality, justice, our rights, and more. AC 24/7 continues with today's top 2 pick.
What are you going to be this year for Halloween?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm a cheerleader.
You're going to be a cheerleader?
5-year-old Saoirse Sulak loves costumes, but she doesn't go trick-or-treating like other children do. Any germ, even a common cold, could kill her because she was born with severe combined immunodeficiency, or bubble boy disease. Made famous by the 1976 John Travolta movie, The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. Saoirse was born in Hawaii, where her father was stationed as an Army helicopter pilot. When she was 6 days old, she was airlifted to UCLA Mattel Children's Hospital, where she spent nearly 2 months.
For the first year of her life, she never left her bedroom.
Her first Christmas gifts wiped clean and brought to her room. Later, medications helped.
She's getting 6 to 7 shots a month, or needles in her legs.
And she could go outside, but still not near anyone except her immediate family. Then Dr. Donald Cohn, who runs this lab at UCLA, had some good news for the family. He said it looked like in the not-too-distant future, Saoirse would be able to get a treatment called gene therapy. He's worked on it for nearly 40 years.
We can really fix the gene or replace the gene that's missing. It's really exciting.
A 2021 study showed the therapy had stunning, near-perfect results.
All the children we treated in the past are doing well. We barely hear from them anymore.
But then the company that owned the gene therapy decided not to pursue FDA approval. Instead, they invested money in treatments for more common diseases. That left Saoirse and more than 24 other families waiting to get the treatment.
The longer that we waited, the higher chance of infection or her medication not working or something happening outside of our control to make her severely sick.
Okay, go ahead.
Promising gene therapies for rare diseases have sometimes had trouble getting to market because the potential profits might be small.
It's been very frustrating.
Thursday, the FDA is holding a meeting on gene therapy, one of a series of public meetings intended to help the development of these innovative treatments. Last week, the agency's leader testified to a Senate committee.
We agree that this is an area we've got to move along more quickly.
As for Saoirse,
Santa got it for me.
Santa got it for you.
Next month, she'll bring her unicorn suitcase to the hospital to get the gene therapy. She had a preparatory visit earlier this month. Her family looking forward to the day that she's like other 5-year-olds.
She's excited to go to school, and she wants to go to a Dodger game, and she's inviting everybody to Disney World for her.
After years of waiting, Saoirse and her family thrilled for the day she can finally get out into the world.
Follow the Advocate channel on Twitter and Instagram to stay updated on stories that matter every day. Here's our #1 story of the day. Take a look.
We're hoping to get as many people established for care as possible because we're really feeling that deadline.
I'll be doing your intake today.
And the clock is ticking. For patients like 19-year-old Kari, a Missouri resident crossing state lines to Kansas because of the battle over gender-affirming care.
How long have you not felt like you?
It's like when I was like 14 is when I first was like, you're not correct.
Now, some of the side effects of testosterone are permanent.
All patients in this Planned Parenthood clinic today are beginning gender transitions, a pop-up clinic to beat the deadline set by Missouri's Attorney General in an emergency rule. Established patients could continue care once the order goes into effect, but new patients face a slew of requirements that would widely limit access. It's why Kari is here before the state-imposed deadline.
How do you view this executive order?
I view it as someone is afraid of something, so they're trying to eradicate people. We are terrified. I've been afraid since I was like 15. This world is terrifying. It's talk with us. Like, just sit there and talk, listen to what we're saying. We're not trying to indoctrinate anyone. We're just saying, hey, this is us.
In another exam room, 20-year-old Andy, who moved up a May appointment to beat the impending order.
Why is it important for you to have access to this care?
It's a constant disconnect from my own body, my own being. I look in the mirror. I feel like an imposter, a stranger. I always have. I'm going through a personal journey now and hopefully can start to feel comfortable in my own skin and maybe feel like I recognize the person in the mirror after I start to see these changes.
Across Missouri, advocates say it's uncertainty and panic among patients.
This is Angela. I'm calling from Planned Parenthood.
Angela Huntington is a patient navigator for Planned Parenthood.
I was just calling to confirm your appointment.
Scheduling patients across Missouri.
I think we have a fight. I think we have a fight in front of us.
What kind of pain are you hearing on the other side of the phone line?
I've got patients calling me from all over Missouri that are just scared. They just don't know where they're going to get their care.
Especially in a shifting battleground of politics and legal orders, say the doctors and nurses.
You want to believe people when they tell you who they are or what they want for their life, and you don't want to say, wow, I believe you that you are transgender, but maybe we should phone your local politician to see if they agree. It's hard not to feel like your local politician is in the room with you.
So next what I'm going to do is go over some screening questions with you.
Kari established gender-affirming care in this visit. Rejected by some family members, Kari says he fled Tennessee a year ago and is ready to move again, unsure of what happens next in Missouri.
I can't live in any state that won't let me be who I am. I have a 24-hour plan of, well, if they do this, you have to leave in those 24 hours. Like, clothes already packed up in the trunk type things. Makes me feel like a refugee in my own state, in my own country.
Thanks for watching the Advocate Channel's top stories. We're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Follow, like, and share, or check out advocatechannel.com for even more stories that advocate for you.